Today for our storylines, I sat down with two volunteers of the Animal Welfare Action Group in Appomattox, Virginia, and they shared their storyline of why giving animals a shelter is a passion of theirs.
AWAG is a nonprofit and located originally from Appomattox County, and we've been serving the shelter in Appomattox and then the citizens of Appomattox with spay-neuter and then vet care for the Appomattox shelter. And we're growing and branching out with community outreach and spay-neuter beyond the Appomattox area. So I joined AWAG in 2014 as a board member. I was volunteering at the Appomattox shelter prior to that, and AWAG was founded, I believe, in 1995 by several Appomattox citizens who had reached their 70s. So they were looking for other people to take it over, and we were in the shelter volunteering, and it seemed like a good fit to be able to be a part of AWAG. So that's how I joined AWAG.
About 12 years ago, I adopted my first dog out of college, and she was a pit bull, and just the best dog ever, and just started to educate myself more on the underserved and how they were discriminated against so much just based on their breed, and she was just the most amazing dog. So just tried to help where I could on educating the public just based on my personal experience as well as in the shelters, and help with socialization and getting them to a better place.
I guess it started for me back when I lived in California. I worked at an animal sanctuary out there and then moved back home and found that there was still a really big need for helping animals find homes in the greater Lynchburg area. Since 2014, AWAG has paid over $20,000 in vet bills for animals at the Appomattox shelter. In turn, that means the Appomattox County has not paid any vet bills. So that's money that they can use elsewhere. So not only are we able to provide vet care for dogs and cats who would be euthanized, but we're saving the county and taxpayers money by being able to provide that service.
And the services provided to these animals have built a special bond with the community. Giving these animals a home and a safe environment is AWAG's #1 priority.
The most difficult times is when you can't help in time, and that no matter how hard you try, sometimes that just is the case, whether you get an animal who is too sick or too under-socialized, or or at some of the rural shelters, if you just don't have the space and a foster home to provide sort of the time to work with them. The easiest is when you advertise on social media and you get a home right away. That's always super easy and awesome when that happens. Both of these dogs came from the Appomattox County shelter. Both of them were sponsored by our organization, AWAG, and then they both joined a rescue to find a home. So AWAG has paid for the bills for Gracie and Pappy. They've been fixed, they've been vaccinated, Pappy tested positive for tick-borne disease. So AWAG is able to provide all of the veterinary resources, which can be a huge hurdle for rescues that work off of donation.
Another big thing that AWAG is doing is the spay and neutering, and that accounts for a lot of the overcrowding as well. And they're sponsoring the spay neuter of every animal that's been adopted in Appomattox, as well as doing some community outreach to get the outside cats spayed. And the hopes are by educating the public as they adopt, as well as out in the community, we can have an effect on the overcrowding in the shelters.
The meaning behind every story starts with a plot. And through this organization, AWAGS hopes to show the world that these animals have stories, just like us.
My storyline would be realizing that an impact can be made with one person, and joining one group and sort of reaching out to one family to fix one pet. One person can make an impact. So that would be my storyline.
Just with your immediate surroundings, you can make a difference. Because I don't think people know, one cat can make 2,500 kittens. And so that accounts for a whole lot of kittens. And really just walking the walk. If I'm not changing people's minds, then at least I'll feel good about myself.